Hey Wargamers, Purple Druid here, and today we are working on a demonstration of the Sword and Scepter map campaign Abstract Combat. And so I've put together a small scenario, 4 or 5 units on each side, and what I wanted to do is just put something together. One of the players, one of the participants in the Druid Quest playtest asked what would happen if they had a couple of platoons of Griffin cavalry, which would theoretically have an enormous effective hit dice, because this system uses a CRT, combat resolution table, with effective hit dice as the defining characteristic for determining the results on this table. So what we've done is I put this together. So this is our order of battle. On the red side, the attacker side, we have 2 companies of light infantry, each with 1 captain and 5 lieutenants of 2nd level. They are drilled. Each company of light infantry has 2 platoons of archers. So that's what these two little marks are for. We have 1 company of medium cavalry with 5 lieutenants and a captain. And that comes to 405 effective points, as they are drilled veterans. We have 1 magic user level 6. And so he's worth 30 points. And then we have 2 platoons of Griffin cavalry with a level 3 lieutenant. Now, each Griffin has 7 hit dice, and so I did all that math right here. So it's 28 times 30 for 840 hit dice. There's 1 hit dice times 29 for the various riders, and then 3 hit dice times 2.5 is 7.5 for the 3rd level lieutenant. So being drilled, that puts them at 876.5. Okay, I'm sorry, 876.5 is the total number of points. I apologize. So then over here, we are going to disregard any Elan modifiers. Elan is a modifier to your effective hit dice based on whether you've won or lost your previous action. This is going to be the first action of the campaign for these 2 units, so we're going to ignore this. It does have a massive impact later. If you've won the previous action, you get a 1.5 modifier. If you lost the previous action, you get a 0.66 modifier. And if you suffered heavy losses either way, then there's an additional 0.5 modifier. So that would take 1 previous action down to, I'm sorry, that substitutes it. So it would be 0.5 rather than whatever the other was. So, and then heavy losses are defined as 50% or more of your force. And I guess I should probably write that in here. And that's why we do play testing, to sort these rules out. Now, for the blue side, the defender, we have 2 companies of medium infantry. They are veteran drilled. They have 5 lieutenants and a captain, so that puts them at 187.5. Because they're drilled, that brings them up to 225. So these 2 here. We have 1 company of light infantry with 5 platoons of archers, so 5 little lines, and they're irregulars, which is a 0.8 modifier, so that brings their effective hit dice down to 150. We have 1 company of medium cavalry, 5 lieutenants and a captain. They are drilled. Their effective hit dice is 337.5. We have 1 magic user level 6 and 1 magic user level 4, so 30 points and 20 points, or hit dice. So this is where we're going to start. The red attacker, their tactical disposition is refuse right flank. The defender's tactical disposition is to stand and defend. Now, one of the things that this also brought up was that we need to have a little bit of a turn sequence because we have missiles, we have magic modifiers. In the rules here on page 2, each magic user subtracts 20 hit dice from the opponent's total hit dice. And so we had to come up with some specific rules regarding this. A magic user may target a specific unit, a platoon, or a company with lightning bolt or fireball before rolling on the combat resolution table. 20 hit dice damage versus unmodified hit dice total. Any unit struck by the magic user's missile or spell attack must check instability due to excess casualties at -2 to the roll. Being hit with a spell that does damage is very, very destabilizing for a unit of troops. Flying cavalry will count as mounted knights, and they'll have a morale of 4. This here I don't think we're going to use, so we're just going to put this in parentheses for right now, but we'll see when we get to that. So the first thing we're going to do is determine our units' effective hit dice for each unit. We are going to lay out a battle line, a simple schematic diagram. We are going to determine the disposition. Our attacker has refuse right. Our defender has stand and defend. So that's going to be 0 modifier to the die roll. All right. The other possible modifier to the die roll is physical condition. We're going to assume peak condition up to 5 engagements because neither unit has engaged in any combat yet. So any of their morale checks will be modified by a condition modifier. So they'll each get a +1 for that. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to apply our archery reductions. So the attacker is going to fire his archers at these 2 units here. The griffins, these are flying very high. They're at 40 inches altitude because they have to stay more than 36 inches away from any cavalry. On page 18 of the original Dungeons and Dragons book 2, it says that griffins' favorite food is horse flesh, and they can't be restrained from devouring that. So if they come within 36 inches, they will attack and devour the horses. So what's going to happen is I have 2 units of griffins here. The attacker is going to err on the side of safety. This platoon is going to circle around. This platoon is going to attack this unit of cavalry. Now, they can't attack anyone else because they won't be able to control the griffins. The griffins are going to go straight for this cavalry. There's nothing they can do about it. The defenders also know about the griffins, the griffin cavalry. So they're going to use their arrows, and they're going to fire upon the griffins as they approach. Now, we're also going to apply magic user reductions. So what are our magic users going to do? I've got 2 magic users here, and they are going to make attacks. Now, we're going to get our augury dice in just a moment because we're going to try to determine what each magic user is going to do. So give me 1 second for that. All right. Because the attacker has a massive advantage in terms of the Griffin cavalry, we want to know, is this magic user going to cast an attack spell, or is he going to save his energies to do a counter spell? So let's go ahead and roll for the augury. It is likely that he will reserve his power for a counter spell. And the answer is no. He is not going to reserve his power. He will make an attack. And so he's going to cast Fireball on this unit of archers. These two, one of them should really make an attack and the other should try to do a counterspell. They can sense, they know how powerful the other is. So this magic user is going to cast his Fireball on this unit of griffins. This magic user is going to attempt to counterspell that Fireball. All right, so now that we've determined that, let's go ahead and determine our results. So we're going to do the archery results first. For each company, for each platoon of archers, subtract 10 from the opponent's total hit dice. So we have 225 effective hit dice here, minus 20. So that's going to bring us down to 205. We have 150 here, minus 20. So that will be 130. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 10, 50 versus the griffins. Now, there's really two ways we can do this. There's effective hit dice, and then there's real hit dice. So let's go back. I want to do it against real hit dice. Officers are the last ones killed as per chainmail rules. So they're going to take out 20 hit dice. This is 150 men with 1 hit die each. So that is going to reduce them to 130. And where are we here? And they're veterans. So we're going to have 187.5 minus 20 is 167.5 times 1.2. And I'm going to pause this while I do the math because my calculator is on my phone. Okay, so we got the math done here. 20 hit dice removed from here brings that down to 201. 20 hit dice removed from here brings us down to 134. Now, 50 hit dice removed from here. Each griffin has 7 hit dice. A flying creature who takes more than half of its hit dice in damage is incapacitated and unable to fly anymore. So 50 means that 12 of these are going to be knocked out. Can you see that? Yeah. And then we have another from this magic user who is going to reduce another 20 hit dice. So that's 5 more. So that only leaves 13. 28 times 13 is 364. Plus 13 hit dice for the riders, plus 7.5 for the lieutenant, times 1.5 for elite, leaves 576 points. That is less than half. So right off the bat, these guys have to make a morale check for excess casualties. And as I said, their morale is 4. So they need to roll on 2 dice. They need to roll a 5+. And because they're in peak condition, they get to add +1 to their die roll. So let's roll for the griffins. And they got a 6. So they will pass. So first of all, griffins pass. First, morale due to excess casualties. So now we're going to have a melee. Now, we're going to do the fireball here. This is going to reduce by 20 hit dice this unit. However, our level 6 magic user is going to attempt to counterspell. And in the Tome of Magic resource, a counterspell, a stronger magician can successfully cast a counterspell with a 2d6 score of 7 or higher, while a weaker magician needs a higher score as shown below. A counterspell fully occupies a magician's powers. A successfully countered spell is lost from memory. But this is for battle magic, so we're not going to worry about that. We are going to try to counter this. We need to roll a 7 or higher because they're equal level. So let's see if the counterspell works. And it does. So this fireball is negated. So we're not going to adjust this anymore. Now we are going to do now we'll do the combat results table. As I said, it's refuse right versus stand and defend. The die roll modifier is 0. And here is our table. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add up the points here, 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 here. We're not going to add this one because he's not participating. He is circling around, and here when they combat. And then we've got 201, 134, 30, 20, 337.5, and 225. So we're going to add those up, and I'll be right back. All right, so the total effective hit dice for the red side is 1,386. The total effective hit dice for the blue side is 947.5. 1386 divided by 947.5 is 1.46, which is 3 to 2 as a ratio. So we're going to look at the 3 to 2 column. And the 3 to 2 column, we have 1 to 6 are the various things. So there's going to be some devastation here. There's going to be quite a bit of casualties. There's no modifier to the die roll, so we're just going to roll it straight, and it's a 5. So that's going to be 2/5 of the attacker eliminated and 2/5 of the defender eliminated. And technically speaking, the attacker will still have more, so our defending force is going to retreat 1 campaign hex away from the battle. So this entire force is going to fall back. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove equally from each unit, because that's the easiest way to do it, 40% of the number of figures. All right, so this one has already lost 20. So it's going to lose 130 minus 20%. So we don't really need to do this because now we've figured out the battle, but we can you will want to figure out the math when you're doing this in game so that you know how many resources you have left, if you need to move units back together, that sort of thing. You know, if these are both reduced below 50%, you may want to shove them together to make one full unit. But basically, for right now, we have learned that in this combat, the blue has been defeated and they will be driven back out of the campaign hex into another campaign hex. Now, that being said, we did not determine whether each side was lawful or chaotic. Let's say they're both lawful. And if the winning force has cavalry or beast units, these units will pursue the losers and eliminate another 20% of the losing force. Lawful cavalry units may be restrained from pursuit. There's a 50% chance of restraining them. The attacker has driven them off. He does not want to. Let's see. Let's ask. Will he try to restrain them? Yes or no? And the answer is no. Okay. So he's not going to try to restrain them. So now they're going to lose another 20%. So for the results of this battle, blue force is going to be minus 40% and driven back 1 hex on the campaign map. And there you go. And so then you just have to figure out the casualties. And again, for each of these units, so there are 150 men. This one's already lost 30. So there are, I'm sorry, lost 20. So they're at 130 minus 40%. This one has lost 20. So they're at 130 minus 40%. This one is going to lose 60 and this one is going to lose 60. So there you are. This one will lose, I think what's happened is these two medium infantries have lost so much that we're probably going to wind up merging those together to make a full unit later. But again, that's something we can worry about in downtime. So there you have it. That's how it works. It's relatively simple. You do need a calculator. So I should probably add that into the rules. And if you make a video of it, you may definitely want a calculator, especially if your calculator is on your phone. So once again, thank you everybody for watching. I do appreciate it. Be sure and hit like and subscribe. And as always, keep on gaming.